Well, hey everybody, this is Don from Wizard Tower Games. I hope everybody has had a good Friday night. A video I am making here that I never thought I'd have to make. Michael Hovermale. And I got to address something that he is doing behind my back, and I will not stand by and allow anybody to infer or say that I stole their work or didn't give them their just due. Now, where is this all coming from? Well, this is coming from a series of communications that Michael Hovermale is sending to third parties about me, such as Tim Kask. I'm using Tim's name with permission because unlike Michael Hovermale, I don't go behind people's backs, slink like a slime bag, and report BS. So Tim knows about this video and what I'm getting ready to say. So basically what happened was Tim messaged me the other day, said, "Hey, Don, I got a email from Hovermale." I went ahead and I seen it. And in that email, Hovermale is extolling how basically he's trying to sour my relationship with Tim. Tim, Don's lying to you. I had everything to do with D20 Delving, the board game. I was from concept to creation. It was my idea, this or that. I have lots of videotapes, secretly, he doesn't use the word secretly, but they were, recorded of Don talking about the game and all that. Well, what Michael has recorded is two friends talking about their games, because in those tapes, Michael's talking about Legacy Engine, his game also. And I'm offering ideas and suggestions and opinions because Michael's proud of his game, and as a friend, I was proud to offer help. And Michael did the same thing with D20 Delving and other games I did, as I would be talking about them and throwing it. He'd be, "Hey, I have an idea, Don." That's what friends do. People like me and Tom Veralt talk game design all the time, and I throw ideas at Tom. Doesn't make me a co-creator of Tom's game. Well, any rate, to make a long story short, it's bothered me because Michael has told several people this BS. He's only doing this with Tim is because he's jealous of me and Tim's relationship, like he's jealous of me and Eric's and me and Tom's relationship. And he's playing his little games. And I've been thinking, how can I show this to be not true? Because, he's being a jerk. And then it occurred to me, my own habits can solve this. Now, what are my habits? I carry one of these around with me for those that can't. There you go. A little pocket recorder. I carry them, got one in my car, driving down the road, got an idea of games. I talk or a book because I do a lot of writing. And what I do is I bring these home because I got one on my desk, one in my car, one in my my winter coat pocket. And I'll create a folder and I call it concepts. So within the Wizard Tower Games folder, there's lots of game titles, lots of games. Board game 1, board game 2, up to board. I think we have board game 12 or 13 now. And within those, there's a folder always called concept. And then there's always a Word document. And in that Word document, I just throw down the blurb of my ideas, kind of like a blurb file. I just go ahead, I throw my ideas down, questions I have and all that. And then I save it. It goes into there. And if it gels like Jell-O in the fridge. If not, it just stays in there. And maybe one day, years from now, I might touch it. Those files are dated, not by me. They're basically, for lack of a better word, they're forensically in their DNA dated. You look at properties, it'll tell you when the document was created. It tells you when the document was last modified. It tells you when the document was last looked at. So let's take a look, shall we? Here is the concept folder for D20 Delving. Okay, everybody, this is Don. I'm just coming right back to my video screen. I wanted to show this to you. As you can see, I'm in the Wizard Tower Games D20 Delving concept file. This is a file I don't get involved in much. I wanted to kind of show these to you. Like, here's my initial board game concept dated. Well, let's let the little thing kind of hop up on it. Let's see here. See, board game concept V1 was date modified. Last time was 7/24/2020 at 3:28 in the afternoon. So that was that. So let's go ahead and we're going to click on this. We're going to go into properties. And as you can see, it was created on February 16th, 2016, 5.5 years before I even met Hovermale. And then the last time it was modified was on July 24th, 2020, which was a year, 14 months before I even met Hovermale. And then I accessed it about 20 minutes ago. That's when I was looking up this video, trying to find the information I wanted for you guys. So this is the file that shows the initial game concept. And if I double click on it, it's opening up. Excuse my computer. I use Microsoft 2010 by preference. I just prefer it. So it takes a moment to open up. And I want to open up this file for you guys so you guys can go ahead and see this, because I'm not going to have somebody else steal the smoke of my work. Not happening. So bingo, there it is. There is the game concept file, possible names to use. And again, this is just my general idea. Like possible names was Deep Delve, Dungeon Delve, D20 Dungeon, D20 Delving. I'm using D20 Delving. But interesting here is I talk about down here, barcodes to read to players, possible QR codes or other scannable code. Who to voice, Redwind Scan, TSR alumni, Elmore, Cask, maybe see if Gygax kids would read. If so, what would the fees be? Would they charge? Server requirements. As you can see, very early on, I had the idea for scannable codes, and even having Cask of all people. Thankfully, he agreed to it to read it. I talked about interactivity, website coordination with the game, large boards, possible single player element, tokens of 3D, 3D character, 3D figures, maybe buy machines myself. This is before I had my stuff to make games with. This is back years ago. Game goals, can players engage and kill each other? Here it is. The whole interactivity thing right there in the board game concept V1 file, dated. And, let me go back to I'm going to get out of this now. All right. You've seen the concept folder for D20 Delving, and we got that out of the way. So, it shows Michael what he is. It shows that no matter what he thinks he has, he doesn't. The idea is to have Tim Cask a part of the reading of it was in my brain many, many, many years ago. And it was a long time before I even met Michael Hovermale. I think I misstated even the length of time, 14 months. I think it's it was about 14 months before I met Michael. So there it is. And see, these are the things that these yahoos like Hovermale don't understand, because they don't do game design, not real game design. They don't do real game development. You don't, Michael. You don't understand the processes that go into taking a game from idea all the way through to, and let's throw your idea out here for a minute. This is for Michael Hovermale. I have a question for you. So if I'm going to buy your little theory here, that because we talked about D20 Delving on a recording a few times, and maybe you threw some ideas. Since I did the same for you, that means I can take your legacy engine, which I have a copy of. I can take your legacy engine now and I can publish it under Wizard Tower Games because I co-created it. Thank you. You gave me permission, right? Maybe I'll take your game and I'll just go ahead and I'll do some fixes to it, because it needs a lot of them. And I'll publish it under Wizard Tower Games. How about if I do that to your game, Michael? No, unfair? You're right. It would be very wrong of me to do that, because I in no way co-created your game. Because the feedback that I gave, number one, I gave freely and as a friend. And feedback is just that. And I asked Tim Cask a very important question here. I asked Tim this question. I said, Tim, let me ask you a question. If I'm telling you about a game module I'm designing and you throw some ideas at me and I use some of your ideas, does that make you a co-creator? Tim's verbatim response was he laughed and said, hell no. Why? Because Tim's a professional. Tim's a consummate game professional. He knows more about game design than I ever will. And he understands the process. So, Michael, do me a favor. Stop this nonsense. Stop your going behind my back trying to sour. First of all, going behind my back to sour relationships with people that I have is petty. And it doesn't endear you to them. It does quite the opposite. It shows them what a slime bag that you really are. And for people like Neon who are working with you right now, I'm just going to say a warning. This guy records everything that he does with you now, which is another creepy thing. Why do you record, chats with friends? I don't record me and Tim's talks on video. I don't record me and Tom's or me and Eric's or me and Paul's or me and Steve's. I don't, because friends don't do that. And when you surreptitiously record behind someone's back, I'm not talking about business meetings, I'm not talking about core business meetings, where we're talking business. Record those, great. But just recording two friends shooting the shit and talking tells me that you're doing exactly what you do. You try to use little snippets of it, and you try to use it against the other person, because you won't play the entire 3-hour-long video. You'll play a 10 or 15 minute or 30-second or whatever. Stop being a slime bag. Stop being a slime bag. Be a man. Make your own games. And stop trying to steal the smoke of other people. So this is Don with Wizard Tower Games. Hated to have to do this video. But no, this ain't going to happen. Not on my watch. I've got too many safeties built into my system to allow some Yahoo from Oregon, who, by the way, has yet to publish jack shit. And if you listen to him, he tells stories how other game companies have stolen his work. It's all these game companies steal his work. No, they haven't. They just got tired of tolerating your BS, sir.